What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Rewatch. Oh, yeah. It's Rewatch. We're doing Toy Story. Why are we doing Toy Story? Because Lightyear's coming out. Why is Lightyear coming out? Because Disney likes to make money. So they're going to put out another Pixar movie. But this one actually looks pretty good. And we are going to talk about the one that started it all in 1995. And I need you guys to subscribe. Look at that. Hit subscribe, like, share, do everything that you need to do. And don't forget, by the way, to also, I don't know, whether it's subscribing to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever podcasts are found. You got to do that, right? And I wish I knew why you aren't doing it. And I wish I knew why you weren't buying a T-shirt on the Skybound store. The link is in the description. You can check that out. There's a Sith Council one there. There's a lot of different things in there. It's myself. It's Winston Marshall. It's Coy Jandreau. Back from Star Wars Celebration. Let's do it. Let's get into it. Come on. Shoes. What's up, everybody? Welcome back. We're back with the Rewatch. Coy is here. Winston is here. Trying to dance. Oh, come on. You're dancing. You can. Yeah, see? Much better. Much better. It's like the Adam Collins dance in the beginning there.
The shirt does 80% of the work, though. The shirt does 80% of the work.
Welcome back. One and one and all in one.
I normally love to compliment how well your thumbnails are going, bro, but you actually messed this one up.
Well, this one I haven't even done it yet.
That was clearly a Toy Story 2 or maybe a 3.
Well, that wasn't a thumbnail. That was just the screen.
But you had Jesse, you had Bullseye in there. You got ahead of the curve.
Now I need you to follow something up and ask me if I care.
As a follow-up,
I'm just automatically going to curb the comments before people go, Kristian, that wasn't the right one.
Oh, yeah, I do see that now. Yeah. Hey, Toy Story 1 graphic. Look at the Toy Story.
Does that work for you?
Toy Story 1. Now it's Toy Story 1.
You have saved our lives. We are eternally grateful.
That's true.
Which is also Toy Story 2.
You just erased Jesse! So, yeah, this is Toy Story 1. We're doing 3. We have... People are really enjoying this rewatch series. Did you meet a lot of people at Celebration that like the rewatch series?
Great bunch of talks about the people liking this insanity. Like more about us than the actual rewatches, which is just complimentary. It's
yes,
nice.
It's true. So we have we have been doing the rewatch series. We're going to be doing it every week. We are going to be doing and the way that if you're brand new to this series, the way that we normally do it is we talk about a movie that's kind of coming into a release. For example, so Toy Story leading into Lightyear. We've done Jurassic World, Jurassic Park leading into the new Jurassic World. We've done the Batman movies. We've done Spider-Man. We've done Matrix. We've done a lot of them. So after this is Thor, right? Yep. That's our next one after that. So we have quite a few kind of leading up. We're going to be doing.
We'll have a double week because Lightyear's in 3.
Right, so we'll be doubling up. I think we're going to put one out on Tuesday, one out on Friday. Mm-hmm. But we also have. We got, what are the other ones we got coming up? We have
Nope after Thor.
Yeah, we're going to do Jordan Peele movies.
Yeah.
We're going to do Avatar when that comes out. We'll probably do the first Shazam.
We were talking maybe Creed for, next.
We'll do the Rocky series.
I'm very excited about
we're going to
do. We're going to do the director's cut, which I haven't seen.
We'll do the first
I haven't seen Rockies.
Dude, that's so crazy.
How many have you seen?
I've seen both Creeds. I've seen Rocky 3 and Rocky 4.
Crazy.
I'm
because
so excited.
I had
so
to
excited.
For a hosting audition. They just wanted me to talk about 80s stuff, and they're like, "Watch Rocky 3 first, real quick." And I was like, "Why is Mr. T a goddamn genius?"
I can't wait for you to understand why Rocky 3 is genius.
Hey there, woman! You want to see a real man? Come over to my apartment later tonight. I'll show you what a real man look like.
Career and a career.
Hey, Winston, you try to come on over and watch a little bit of Rocky 1, watch Rocky 2. Come on. So I can't wait. I cannot wait to have you watch those. We have a lot. That's the whole point. Is there's going to be a lot, and so we figured why not get into one of the classics here in Toy Story. And before we started filming, Winston was like, you could obviously tell the dramatic improvement that they made. This is because Lucasfilm. I think that George Lucas kind of came up with the original technology to do all this, and they sent it over, sold it to Steve Jobs or whatever it was.
Yeah, Steve Jobs produced. Joss Whedon wrote this.
Yes. Yeah.
So weird to see that name pop up.
One of, but yes, he is.
I just didn't expect he was top billed.
He was top billed on it.
I didn't know Steve Jobs and Joss Whedon never had co-credits.
Yeah,
it's just weird to see.
It is, but it's also lets you know, obviously he had Buffy running not long after this, but just again, somebody that had just been in the industry forever, and you don't realize it until you go, wait, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big credit. And so we had that this movie comes out in 95, and it was the reason why it was so big, not just because, well, Steve Jobs was involved because of the transformation in technology and the kind of traditional 2D or whatever it was, animated, like the Aladdins, if you will. I don't know if it's 2D, whatever the hell it is.
Hand-drawn.
Whatever it is. Yeah, the Aladdin, all those movies. This is, 92, 93 was Aladdin and all the big Disney movies. So this was the shift. This was the one that changed all. I remember
the first feature-length CGI film.
You still had the last Disney movie was Lion King, and the reason why I actually remember that is because I don't know if you caught it at the end, because Disney loves to do this little meta stuff. When they're moving, Molly is listening to Hakuna Matata.
Which would have been a soundtrack that was very popular at the time. You could have heard that on the street.
When was Hercules and
after this?
I want to say
Tarzan, same.
Tarzan, I think. If I remember, Hercules is 96 and Tarzan was 7.
Well, yeah, you knew, and that makes sense because
you feel that shift.
Well, it's just because if you're Disney at that time, when that's still your bread and butter for animation, and you have this project that you have confidence in, obviously, but you don't know that this is going to shift animation. all the way.
And you want to have like the same thing know you do well immediately.
Because if it doesn't work.
Way off.
Oh.
Hercules is 7. Tarzan is 99.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Tarzan's recent. Or
Well, what was Pocahontas?
That might be the missing.
Yeah, maybe that was it.
It's crazy that we lived, like, we were at the perfect age for Aladdin.
95.
95, so it came right after
this.
No, it was 90. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So same year. So that explains, that's okay, look. Our traditional ain't going anywhere.
Yep.
So they thought.
Yeah.
And we're going to just stick with, well, let's give this thing a shot. And then once they, nailed it, then they said, okay, we got to do a second one.
I remember seeing this in theaters and how big a deal it was to see this in theaters because like I was 7 and we didn't go to the movies that much. Like we went to the movies for the big movies, and I remember Toy Story was such a staple of society. Like it was so hyped. It was such a big deal that CGI was coming to a head. I think Forrest Gump.
Everybody went
and
saw this movie.
Yeah, it was such a big thing.
Because I remember as a kid being geeked out about it as a kid, and how many times I want to say we saw it in theaters at least 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
And I broke the VHS on this one.
Yeah.
But I remember parents having their mind
so I'm
blown.
older than you guys. So we were working at a movie theater. I was a teenager, and we took a group out and saw it. We were all stoned out of our faces.
Yeah,
just kidding, kids.
Must have been amazing.
Just kidding, kids. And we were, but it was awesome.
Yeah,
and I remember because we were just because the thing is. The reason why is because I worked at a United Artists Theater, right? And
oh my God, I remember those.
Yeah, and they would play. Oh, dude, this place was a zoo. I've told stories about Barnaby, the mustache twirling kind of the guy who clipped the thing with the cutters for the Mortal Kombat machine. And
it's always the arcade guys. I worked at a showcase.
So I've told this story. I got to tell you, if you've never heard this story, I have to tell it briefly because I've told this story many times over. It's one of my favorites. So a guy we call Barnaby. I don't want to say his real name. I've told stories about him on Collider Live. I've told him on this. He worked at United Artists. This place, everybody ripped this place off. Everybody. It was an absolute disaster.
Just like sneaking in the back and stuff.
When people were one of the ushers at one point says, "I'm gonna go take a nap in Congo," because Congo was playing at the time. So he's working on shift, so he slept for the whole time. And he was and they would this guy Barnaby would steal the carbon the soda boxes, the carbons, and sell them to pizzerias for higher prices. And they never kept a good inventory on it.
I didn't know that part of the story.
Oh, dude, he made a business out of it. So he would well, you wouldn't love him too much if you went there because what he would do is he would basically he had a scam going with the concession stand. He would take because they had an inventory on the popcorn stuff. He would get it out of the garbage, clear it out, and resell it. Have them resell it.
Oh, okay. He's lost me. He had me, but he lost me.
But he made all that money off it because he was just reselling.
Well, you go to the dollar store, you get the same candy for $1, then you sell it for $5.
I'm telling you, this guy.
That's how you do
it. But you don't mess with the trash.
Okay,
that's the line.
You think that this is a great plan, but what you really have to do is get your supply costs down. So my favorite story about my little sister is. She would get my mom to buy her all this stuff for like sack lunches. She's like, I don't like the lunches at school. Like we could save some money. Can you just buy me stuff for sack lunches? She said, sure.
Then she'd say,
my little sister would go to school with like 12 peanut butter and jelly, like chips and a soda, and she would sell them for $10 a pop. Yeah. And she had no supply costs because she wasn't paying my mom back.
And I bet she's doing pretty well in life right now.
I mean, she is, let's see, what she wrote on Charmed.
Yeah.
She's got movies coming out right now.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Yeah.
One of two things happens. You either go that route
or you're in jail.
And what do you think Barnaby had?
He's in jail.
He was. But not
because he was taking popcorn out of the trash. She didn't take it out of the trash. That's the difference.
But people like that still. But now he's out now and he's thriving again. So, but anyway, Wolf of Wall Street. But so what he did was
his real name was Jordan Belmont.
This was my favorite, and I've told this again. I've told this story for new subscribers are going to hear it. For old ones, I hope you like the story again because it's one of my favorites because it's insane. So Mortal Kombat at the time, this is around 95, when and it will all link back to Toy Story, I promise. But so 95, the Mortal Kombat machines, they were everywhere, no matter where you went, the arcade, and they were everywhere and lived in Queens, and you couldn't go into a place and not and people were shoving money into them and just. So Barnaby found a way to jimmy open the things to get the quarters out, and people would come in and just play in Mortal Kombat all day, and he would just reap the benefits. So the guy that came in to check is like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
He's like, this is the most popular game.
It's got $7 in it.
This theater is the only one that this machine is not making a profit and is at a loss. It's like there's something going on, and they're like, we don't know. So it keeps happening. He's like, this. So they put a lock on it.
Yeah,
and they put a lock on the thing. So Barnaby comes in one day, and we're like, oh, let's see how he's going to react to this because this is his bread and butter. So all the ushers are just waiting to see how he's going to deal. The man walks in, stops and sees the lock from like miles away and stops and doesn't say a word. Doesn't say anything to anyone. On shift, clocks in, walks out the door. He's gone. We're like, well, where is he? 10 minutes later, he comes back and he's got big box cutters.
He already had them.
No, he went to the hardware.
He went to go buy them.
He went to the hardware.
He clocked in, so he's still making money while he's getting ready to rob this machine.
On the clock.
He went to the hardware store. He bought box cutters. He clips it, takes all the money out.
Returns the box cutter.
Returns the box cutter.
Because you're not going to make a profit.
Did he buy another lock?
I don't believe he did.
Because I got to imagine that dude, because that was one thing about the story I always asked.
I don't know.
I don't think he thought ahead, Barnaby. I don't think he's thinking of the future.
I'm gonna text him and ask him.
You're still friends with him.
Oh yeah.
I love you, Barnaby's number.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna. Let's
man.
see.
Did you ever buy another lock?
Hey, when you bought the box cutters for the Mortal Kombat machine, did you replace the lock or did you just walk out and leave the lock unclipped? I'm trying to remember.
See, I don't keep these people.
We'll
I don't know the arcade guy from my youth. I love that you still have.
I've known this guy since the first grade.
That's incredible.
Wow.
So he is, and so like I said, so he did all that, and he replaced the lock, and then the guy comes back and he goes, what the hell's going on here? Unbelievable. And Barnaby's just with this big smile. We used to talk that the reason we call him Barnaby is from the March of the Wooden Soldiers, Laurel and Hardy.
Yeah.
He really seemed like that, well. Like he would do that.
Sid grew up, did fine.
He did. So anyway, the reason that all comes into play is because
double prizes.
The video that would play for the screens would be all these. The two movies I remember playing all the time. The trailer. There were one that we were like, well, that looks interesting, and one we were like, well, that's going to be a pile of dog crap. The dog crap one was called Cutthroat Island,
and here we are.
And then the other
watch next week.
That's right. And the other one was Toy Story.
Yeah.
And we were like, well, that looks so interesting.
It was so unprecedented.
What a concept.
Yeah.
Because Lord knows you see they open up, which is so smart. You open up not with the toys moving, with what every kid did. You had your action figures. You're like, yes, it's a Mr. Potato Head, but right now it's an evil genius. Yes, it's a little pig, but now it's like a cop helping out the sheriff. And like just playing these games to set up then. Cool, great job, everybody. You killed it. Absolutely awesome. Keep, whatever.
Because we get to activate the magic with them.
Oh, my God.
And I also like that it wasn't Disney magic. There was no like little sparkly dust.
Right.
It was literally they were just alive. Like it wasn't a on-off Indian in the cupboard thing. It was they just were.
The only thing that I think is a small plot hole, personally, if Buzz Lightyear thinks he is really Buzz Lightyear, why does he freeze? And he does that a decent amount of times before he finally accepts that he's a toy.
I think it's just part of their makeup, but they can't really help themselves. But why doesn't he use showing? I mean, I've thought of that too, but I think that's something you got to like.
Obviously, especially as a kid.
No, I know you're for sure. But I love their dynamic.
Maybe they'll answer it in Lightyear coming out in 3 weeks.
That's right. But the idea of it, though, is so sweet, and it's just a really smart and kind of clever idea about the toys, because you always thought about like what happens with your toys.
Yeah, you leave the room. What do they do?
And I didn't remember how much they leaned into. He thinks he's the real Lightyear. It's said like multiple times in the film, and it's mentioned like there are aliens. There is.
He needs some milk.
Oh, that's amazing.
So he wrote me back. He said the lock was on, but it was clipped that way. That way I had easy access to the back when I wanted to.
Damn,
that's creative.
What a boss.
That is so creative.
I'm out here advocating for a criminal, for literally a criminal act, but that was
we're just on camera. It's
smart, bro.
But he's not. Of course he was. Everybody else was making minimum wage and trying to get free popcorn. This guy was making like Jordan Belfort money,
bro. Yeah. How you get a Mustang?
Mortal Kombat.
He would drive to pizza place after pizza place
with the
selling the carbon thing, and
that's hustling. Wait, what carbon thing are you talking about?
So you know the carbon soda that gives you the bubbles in the soda from the fountain, like it's
very
connected.
Expensive.
It's connected to
so he would steal it from the theater.
He would take the inventory from the theater, and he would drive around, wait for the shipments to come in, and say that the shipment was light. And that the factory didn't give it, whatever it was.
You don't catch up for a long time because it's
long time.
He said. And also like the syrup of those theaters, like you get like 200. Yeah. So it then goes to the carbon and then water. And
so that was the thing. When you just said carbon, I'm literally thinking like, does he mean like cardboard cutout?
No, it was these big boxes.
I understand what you're saying.
And I remember at the time, like they were, I think that the theater was getting them for like, I think 60 a box or whatever it was, and he would sell them for like 40. So it would go to him.
Dude.
God,
hustling. Definitely Sid energy.
Dude, he made
but smarter.
Dude, this
big Sid energy, bro.
Big Sid energy.
This guy, so it made no surprise that when we were going out, like afterwards, all the theater employees like, I got it.
Yeah, I mean, you're all accomplices. He better got it.
You mean the whole town's got it? From all the schemes you got going. And Mortal Kombat's got it. Sub-Zero's got it.
He's an investment in Mortal Kombat. He's invested. Don't worry about it.
He's hilarious.
I genuinely hope he ended up being an executive producer on the new Mortal Kombat film, and we just didn't know about it. Like
his response.
Long game.
His response. Thanks for the memory.
Barnaby. Yo, does he have like 2 kids now? One's named Sid, one named Andy.
He's got 3 kids.
Sid, Andy, and Molly. Please, Jesus,
but I'll tell you, his ex-wife. Well, I don't want to give too much information.
That's fair. Yeah, people get some context, they'll narrow it down. All right, Barnaby, 3 kids.
But either way, like I thought about having him on the show, but I'm terrified of what he would actually say.
And just the amount of knowledge has been shared.
I just don't know what he would say. He is. I remember one time, and this is more of a Barnaby. This is your life than it is Toy Story, and we'll get back to it. I promise. It's just I remember one time I was pretty hammered. And he was there, and we were at this house party, and he's just a wonderfully weird dude. And they had like this, what kind of dog was it? It was like not an Akita, but it was like this big kind of fluffy but hulking dog.
Husky?
It wasn't a husky. I can't remember, but either way, I look over, and he's like, and they were playing trance music. Again, this is like in the mid-90s. And he's techno dancing with one of the dogs. And he's got the dog, and he's got the dog. Remember, he's just going like this with the dog, and the dog's like, and he's just like, come on. And then another time we were all again hammered, and we were at my house at this party, and my mom had all these nutcrackers, and he liked the fact that people called him Barnaby, right? So because he would go, well, we shall see. And I swear, I walk into this room. It's like this dark room. He had no idea I was there. He was playing with the nutcrackers, going, "We shall see, we shall see." Love that. And I look over and I said, he goes, ha, 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 ha. It was, I'm telling you, he's a pure like cartoon
I'm not
villain.
surprised you ended up doing stand-up comedy. Between the people in your life and Action Park, this all makes perfect sense
I could tell Barnaby stories on stage for sure.
Easily. Yeah, no.
We shall see. Love that.
That's why it's so important to work in these places. Like, I think I'm a better person for having worked in the theater for 6 years.
Yeah, I mean,
like,
look,
were you there for 6 years?
Not at I Pick.
Oh, okay.
So I worked at Showcase Cinemas from 14 to 20.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I started the week after my 14th birthday, and then I got a restaurant job at 20.
Well, that job definitely helped me with.
run.
Well, helped me with this, like for the knowledge of, because I saw so many movies I saw Braveheart like 7 times when I was supposed to be working.
Yeah, I saw so many movies over and over again, and then
That's-
iPick was the same, where like I'd need to cover movies, so I'd see it a couple days early, and it would help my hosting.
That is literally why phase 2 of the MCU, if I were doing any sort of MCU match, I wouldn't miss a question, because I saw
everything there.
Guardians and Winter Soldier over and over and over.
Well, look, I
and over.
promise that this will be a Toy Story
and
soon,
a Barbie hour.
But before we even do that, let's just start here. Let me tell you guys, because for video, and Coy and Winston, I told them for the first time yesterday, and now Winston already said he looked it up, and I want to hear what Winston saw when he was checking it out. But Storyblocks. Video is the most effective way for everyone to capture an audience's attention, and as a result, modern storytellers are always challenged with creating more video content at a higher quality, more voices in the process, and distributing on more platforms than ever before. And some of the barriers our creators face, whether it's time, budget, knowledge, creative inspiration, passion, burnout, I can tell you that for me, mental health, keeping that, you got to do something to help you out and help your content. Storyblocks makes it possible for creators to keep up with the growing demands for modern video content, so you can bring all your stories to life and stop sacrificing your vision due to time, budget, and resources. So what they do is it helps bring all of your stories to life without sacrificing your vision, and because of the time, the budget, and the resources. And they have an ever-growing library, and it's demand-driven. They have constantly optimizing and adding 4K HD footage, After Effects, Premiere Pro templates, music, images, all of it. You can use and downloaded content anywhere for commercial and personal use. You have to choose a plan for you that works for you from their flexible subscriptions that scale to give you all the content and tools you need. Now, I am highly recommending this for you guys. I get so many people, and I ran into a bunch of people at Star Wars Celebration. They're saying that and I was humbled by it. They said they were inspired by SCHMOEDOWN, and they were inspired by things that we were doing here, and they were starting their own content. Use this. Check it out. Storyblocks.com/bigthing. Check out Storyblocks and sign up for their unlimited all-access plan. Once again, it's Storyblocks.com/bigthing. Winston, did you check it out in all your story?
I did. I didn't pull the trigger quite yet, but I will be. Rent. I just realized right as I was be like, let me rent. My rent, and then I'll come back in a week or two. But I got a chance to check some of the stuff out. It is awesome.
It's really great, and I'm glad that that we're working with them. And not only are you going to help your content out, you're going to help the show out. You're going to help this show out. So if you want to support the show, that people are always asking, how do I support the show? We have great sponsors like Storyblocks. Go into the link in the description. Check it out. All right, so we watched this movie called Toy Story. But again, the idea that this toy of Woody is the best toy. He's the leader. The way he talks to everybody. He's got Bo Peep that he's kind of peeping on. You know, he's got the dinosaur. He's got all these people who kind of look up to him, and he's the king.
Yeah,
king of the castle. And then here comes Buzz Lightyear.
And I love that not only is it about like growing up and it's a coming of age story, but from a different perspective, but it's also about like being insecure and feeling replaced. Yeah. And there's so many adult themes that are good to learn at a young age. There's so many things. And then there's like adult humor mixed in with the like standard humor, like Mr. Potato Head saying like, you uncultured swine, and it's a pig. Like there's jokes that I was like, that wouldn't have made sense then, but I've seen it so many times. Right. You get a different experience. Yeah. And I don't have kids yet, but I do imagine that when I have kids, rewatching it with them is going to feel like a different movie. It's one of those movies that you can tell it's evergreen. And it's such a universal story that hadn't been told this way in 95.
You know what's so funny about that? Is that I was bummed. My oldest watched it like Toy Story, definitely watched a few of them, but was like not like blown away by it.
Sure.
Right? And then when I tried to get the little one to watch the first time, she's like, no, I don't want to watch it. I'm like, bummer, right? But then there was this story, this Disney book with all the stories, and one of them was Toy Story with Jessie, and she's like, I want to watch Toy Story now, and she blew through all 4 of them, and like loved them, right? So like, it's amazing how what's going on in your psyche at the moment, why you want to watch something or not.
I think part of it, and that was the thing, in 95, this CGI, this technology is brand spanking new. Right. It's used so much everywhere now that I could also see a kid looking at it and go, Daddy, why does that look weird?
Yeah. Because the thing is, when you look at, for us, what traditional like animation was, right? You know, and then it was offsetting. She has seen so much of the Toy Story type technology, but as you're saying, perfected in a different way, and like the evolution of what.
This is like on TV now. Like,
but
you know, there's shows that have this cranked out.
But the story's a story, and it played during. She's also 4, so it doesn't really I don't think makes that much of a difference. But
Right.
does the story resonate with people? And it does. It resonated with her. It resonates the jokes, as you were saying. You know,
You
it's
got
like,
different levels.
and it's what makes Pixar movies so special when they hit, is that as an adult and as audience, you can respect it both ways. Or there's stuff that you said, like when you were a kid, went over your head, but then you watch it and you go, oh, I picked that up now.
Yeah.
And I think that's what this really did very well.
It's funny because I didn't really know who Tom Hanks was as a kid.
Yeah.
Until this movie. And then
This is the one that you knew him
This
from.
is the one that I knew him from. And then it's so funny. Then I saw him in live action, and I don't even remember what film. Whatever came out soon thereafter. And I was like, is that Woody?
Yeah.
Like, just like straight up, just like, what? Like, but the performances is the other thing that obviously the technology sells it and the story sells it, but the performances of Woody, of Tim Allen, of God, the kid that plays Ham, who's in every Pixar film, John.
Oh my God, it's freaking
John.
No.
Is
Oh
his
my
name
God,
not John?
No, it's Cliff from Cheers. John
Yeah, I can picture his face.
Ratzenberger. I thought Ratzenberger. It was John. It's Cliff Ratzenberger.
No, his name's
Cliff
John
is-
Ratzenberger.
Cliff
It is John. That's what I thought.
Cliff is who he played in Cheers.
Okay, that's what I thought.
John
so it's John
Ratzenberger.
Ratzenberger. That's
Yeah.
what I thought. I
You-
was
you
like,
were
I
right
knew
with
it was
John. You were-
okay.
yeah, we're just getting
He
that.
said no, and I was like, what?
No, you start.
It was his own
you
nose.
said John Lasseter.
Well, that's the director.
No, that's
John
Lasseter did direct.
Did direct
this
this
one.
one,
He did
yeah.
this one. Yes, but he
Yes.
also became a producer at Pixar for a while.
No, of course.
Yes.
But John Ratzenberger, like, I mean, all of that. I still remember to this day, and I think my favorite joke of this, which doesn't make sense, because it's 95. I'm not even 10. I'm like 7 or 8.
Yeah.
When the very end, where they go, Mrs. Potato Head, we have a Mrs. Potato Head. Whoa, I got to shave. And he just takes his thing off and throws it. As a kid, I didn't quite get the implications of, like, I'm prepping for a date. It's just that he was like, I have to shave. So shaving was just taking his mustache.
So you loved
and throwing
it, but as a kid and as an adult,
and
you
then once I
appreciate it
became
more.
a teenager and watched it again, I was like, yo, fam.
So I used to quote a line that Tim Allen says is Buzz when he's drunk off of the Darjeeling tea, and I for decades, like maybe 20 years, thought Darjeeling was like booze. Cause I was like sipping on Darjeeling with Mrs. Nesbitt and her little sister, so I was like, "Yo, Darjeeling's got to be the shit." And then like I found out it was tea because of the Darjeeling Limited. So it took years, and I never Googled.
Yeah, but that-
so
and-
like
and-
Wes
and-
Anderson, like Darjeeling, I was like, "Oh, it's been tea this whole time."
And that's what I'm saying. And look, they also is it the first one or second one when he says the delicious hot schmoes? Delicious schmoes. I can't remember.
Eating
which-
delicious
I think
hot
it's the second- I think it's
schmoes.
the
That's the
I think
second
it's
one
the
because
second
he
one.
thinks
Yeah.
no,
It's the second one.
It's the third one.
Is it? I don't think
I
so.
believe
We're gonna find out.
The
Yeah, it's the
reason
second
why
one.
the
It's
reason
the
why I
second one.
think
So I
it's
didn't
the
hear it
third
was-
because it's about college. Don't worry, you'll be going with him to it's summer camp. You're
Second
right.
one.
It's
It's the
the
second
second one.
It's
You're
the
right.
second
You're
one.
right. It was summer camp,
It's the
not
second
college.
one.
I learned my actual favorite words in this movie, and I learned it in this movie. It's zealots. Like
I was
my
gonna say, I
favorite
thought you
word.
were selfie.
I mean, no, but like to be zealous, to be a zealot is something I learned from this because like
Right.
the aliens going like, oh, the claw, and like Woody says you zealots, and that word just sounds cool. It's a Z word, and since I was 7, I've been saying zealots. Used it wrong for years.
But
It's really cool. This movie's informative and educational.
And that's what I'm
smart.
saying is that and you don't lose anything. You're not confused by it, right? Like, like there's not things that are going on that you can't keep up with it. Like it's like there are things you pick up later on, and as you appreciate when you're watching it.
Yeah.
Like the Pizza Planet stuff is really is fantastic.
The settings are gorgeous. Because
Yeah.
they're mapping, like, it's older CGI, so you can see that it's like wall pattern, like floor pattern.
Yeah.
But like when they're in the Pizza Planet, we've lived in these spaces, then all of a sudden there's glow, and Buzz Lightyear's got that glow to him. And like when you go to Disney now, when I see the Pizza Planet rocket, I still get excited. Like it still feels like my childhood.
It's funny because we just went to Disneyland, myself, Steph, and Mike for the for Star Wars Celebration. They had like, that media thing that they did, and we were walking around there, and I saw Pizza Planet, and I was like, oh, I definitely need to go get
Still
some.
special.
Yeah, it's still special.
Dude, no,
It's almost
so
30 years old.
So here's the other thing that I'm curious about. Are you guys familiar with kind of the extended lore of Toy Story that they actually they buried the lead a decent amount?
Oh, they put Pizza Planet in every
Pizza Planet trucks in every Pixar movie.
There's that, but like we're gonna get to it starting with this next one. So you remember Jessie's whole origin story of like she loved me and all that. So apparently, and you can tell because of the hat that his cowboy hat. If you notice, it doesn't match Woody's hat. It matches Jessie's hat, and the reason why is his mom had the same relation. That was her Jessie doll that she left.
Oh,
and so the whole lore is the fact that the reason why that Woody toy is so important to her, she remembers the Woody toy from all that stuff. So it's all interconnected where like she also loved this show. Because remember, that show is old.
Yeah.
Like Andy is what, like 10 in this, and it's supposed to be the 90s.
Yeah.
And that show is like a black and white Woody show from like the 40s or 50s.
You think we'll get that after Buzz? You think we'll get like down the line?
We might.
If Lightyear does well, we get like a Western?
Maybe.
That's what there's rumors about it, but now with Disney Plus, you never know. You know,
Right. Could be literally a show of the show.
And Tom Hanks is doing Disney Plus stuff. He's doing Pinocchio, you know, so you never.
That'd be fun, man.
So you never know. They've done other things that. This movie, apparently, the Lightyear is really, really good.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, so we're going to see that. By the way, we're seeing it next week. I don't know when the embargo lifts on it, but we're going to see that. So we're pretty pumped about it because it just shows you the tradition of Toy Story, right? Because it's been around now. There's 4 of them, 95, and then I want to see. What we did last time was the box office, right? Let's take, because this is 95. What do we think that this movie has made globally so far?
275.
275?
Yeah.
You think worldwide?
Yeah,
I'm going to say more than that.
Worldwide?
It's 95 still.
I know, but I'm still going to...
Are you saying there have been like re-releases recently?
No, I'm going to say 450.
I think that's probably more in the range where I'm going to go.
Because family movies.
You also understand I am not good at
You were better than he was last time on
Yeah.
Jurassic Park, but you say 495. I'm going to go a little higher. I'll say 625.
I don't think we get that until Toy Story 2.
You might be right.
But that's my guess.
Let's see.
You misspelled box office.
It doesn't matter. They'll figure it out.
Okay, just make it.
Oops, I was mojo.
All right, so let's say Books. It made. Oh shoot, Winston hitting it.
Whoa.
Winston hit it. 244. See, you shouldn't have doubted yourself.
Not yet.
I
You're
did you
on the
say?
money.
I said 275.
Okay,
So I'm still
650.
over, but
Wow.
I'm definitely the close. You guys have got me to retrain my brain now, and for inflation it might be different, but you got me to retrain my brain about these 90s movies because I just assume Black Panther did $1 million.
No,
maybe Spider-Man did $1 billion.
And movie tickets were like $5. Like movie tickets were less.
That's the thing, the inflation. Now I want to know what Toy Story's budget was.
Because I think when I started at the theater, movie tickets were $525. I think
it was $30 million to make, and then again, 95. That's a lot of money. To make an animated film. That's a lot of money.
But I guess the technology you just
So $30 million. It makes 244, which is still off of $30 million. 240. It made 191. See, that's hilarious though.
It made more.
I want to go. I'm going to check. Yeah, domestically it made 191 million. Right. Wow. It only made 52 international. I think that's people, the international audience, because we don't know what this is.
I would agree with you, and that there's also, I think, more so than normal. It feels like there might be a lot of like American tropes maybe that don't hit as well, and then
the cowboy.
Winston was on the money with this.
Hey, I was close in the second one.
Yeah, but that's what Winston said. He said the second one was the one that crushed, right? So domestic, 245 for Toy Story 2, 251.
Look at that, 50 and
massive,
50. Like
massive
50.6, 49.
Massive
also,
jump.
For the record, $4.35 was the average movie ticket price in 95.
Right.
$4.35.
So it makes $4.97 the second
wish.
one. So now we might as well. Let's go to Toy Story 3. Now, I'm going to guess that one's got to be in the 600.
Toy Story 3, Best Picture, closing out the trilogy. I'm going to say
and it's 2010. Box office is very.
Oh, wow. I'm going to say 800.
There was 11 years between Toy Story 2 and 3?
Yeah.
It
made $1 billion. Wow. I just didn't want to say it. I thought that was too much.
Okay, for the record, but this is worth noting, $4.35 Toy Story 1 movie ticket price, $7.89 Toy Story 3.
4 also made $1 billion.
That doesn't surprise me. I won't lie. I do like Toy Story 4 a lot.
Yeah.
I was one of those people that was super pissed they were doing
I remember you saying, I think you came on. I think you were on Collider Live when you said it, but I didn't mind them doing it at all. It's like because all three of them delivered, and I think the reason why people were so upset about the idea of it is because the three of them were so perfect that nobody wanted them to get the
perfect ending.
Yeah, but it's their toys, you know. It's like the fact is that, and the Forky thing, the way that played in with this little girl, and they just kind of switched it and pivoted to a new girl. But anyway, that's Toy Story 4. But
we'll get there.
The fact that this is one of those things where each time they made one, it didn't go through what like Jurassic Park did, right? Where it was like, okay, the first one made so much, and then the second one took a little bit of...
It just doubled.
Yeah, this one kept getting more and more and more and more.
It doubled between 2 and 3 and 3 and 4.
I can't believe... I mean, I guess when you look at the technology of this first one, the fact that the international audience, A, maybe it wasn't in a lot of markets.
Sure.
B, we're like, what the hell is this? We don't know what this is. This animation. Where's the Lion King stuff?
I can't believe it was 4 years between 1 and 2 and 11 between 2 and 3. That's crazy.
I know.
I remember that being the thing because Toy Story 3 came out 2010.
Yeah.
Right? I remember that because it was senior year of college.
Yeah.
So I remember Andy going off to college, having just finished that journey and whatnot. And then also them, obviously you get the big scene, spoiler alert, of them almost dying in the giant trash compactor, incinerator.
Okay.
I was streaming tears.
Yeah.
Like, no, they can't go out like this. And then, oh, dude.
Well, this starts the boom, right? Because this movie comes out November 22nd, 1995 is a massive hit. The next one is 1998, 3 years later.
Yeah.
Because that makes sense when you don't if you're at the studio, you don't greenlight
a sequel. You
don't greenlight anything. You don't greenlight anything yet because maybe nobody's going to respond to this.
Yeah.
And then it's a hit. You're like, okay. And then it takes 2 or 3 years to make the damn thing. So okay, let's go ahead with Bug's Life because then the next one is a year later, and that's Toy Story 2. So the second Toy Story,
if I had to guess in that regard, Toy Story 1 does well. So Bug's Life was already
they probably had it read. They probably said this is if this does well, we have this.
But as soon as they did that, they also, just knowing how Disney operates, because I have enough family now that have worked on the creative side of it.
Disney?
They will take years. Yeah. So where a movie you might be like, oh, we've got the concept, we'll have it out in 2 to 3. Disney will wait anywhere from 3 to 5. They're like, it's gonna be perfect or it's not coming out.
Yeah, because their brand, they're such a strong.
It becomes.
But this wasn't Disney at the jump, was it? Disney bought Pixar.
That's what I thought, but it's a Pixar. It's they were released by they all were released by Disney Pictures through the Walt Disney Pictures banner with being Toy Story.
So maybe they bought them right up. Maybe they were distributing to start, but then they bought them right out. I think
they bought it. So Toy Story, Bug's Life, and Toy Story 2 start the boom. Monsters, Inc. then destroys in 2001. Finding Nemo in 2003. The Incredibles in 2004. Cars still it
made money.
Made money, was not as loved as everything else, but still is considered a massive success. And a lot of people love Cars. Ratatouille nails it. WALL-E nails it. Up nails it. Toy Story 3. So we're talking from 95 to 2010.
15-year hot streak.
Money machine.
I'm curious because real quick, Toy Story 3 made a Billy.
Yep.
Is that the first one or did Up? Because everybody was talking about Up like it was.
So I have no problem doing. We're kind of doing a
box office
Pixar.
mojo episode.
But that's okay. But a Bug's Life.
It still ties into it.
Yeah, it does. Bug's Life box office mojo. Let's see. We have for Bug's Life did better than the first Toy Story.
Because we've gotten used to the imagery. Right. We were more prepared for it.
It's a funny movie, too. I like Bug's Life.
So we know Toy Story 2 made 465 or whatever. So Toy Story 1 is the biggest. Then A Bug's Life is the biggest. Then Toy Story 2 is the biggest. So they keep beating it. So now let's see what Monsters, Inc. does. If Toy Story 2 was 460 or whatever it was, Monsters, Inc. then becomes, let's see what it does. 579. It becomes
a little bigger.
So it becomes the champion, right? So Monsters, Inc. now is the champion. Now what about Finding Nemo?
Because the one thing that they did with this, and they always do with Pixar films, they will hardcore from the studio that brought you Toy Story, from the studio that brought you Bug's Life.
Finding Nemo
almost
makes $9 billion.
Almost $1 billion. And I'm not surprised.
2003.
I'm not surprised.
Insane.
Finding Nemo
is
was
incredible.
Huge. Just keep swimming. People were saying that all over the place.
Now, as good as The Incredibles is, I can't imagine The Incredibles doing better than that.
I don't think it cleared to Billy because we hear we talk about it. In that conversation.
It's up.
I don't think it's.
People love it. 631.
Okay.
Yeah. There's no chance it did it that much. I mean, look, $1 billion when the billions started flying off the shelves with Fast and Furious and Jurassic World and Star Wars.
Sure.
That was rare.
Yeah.
And the fact that Finding Nemo almost did that.
And that was when movie tickets were half the price.
I'm curious. So that's the thing. I don't think Cars did. I don't think Ratatouille did. But WALL-E and Up, I would venture a guess, probably also almost pushed $1 billion.
Well, let's see. So right now, so Finding Nemo is the champion.
Tickets were $603 when Finding Nemo was released. Okay, $6.
So let's see. The first
Cars is close. Maybe
no chance.
Half a billion.
No chance. Yeah. I bet you. 461.
Yeah, so they didn't do very well because Cars people like it, but it was not.
It's not regarded. It's not the same pedigree.
But I don't think Ratatouille did either. I could be wrong because it's one of the few Pixar films I haven't seen.
I missed Ratatouille in theaters.
No way I spelled that right.
Yeah, you might just want to copy that.
That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. Let's see. So Ratatouille. I would say, come on. Put in an email addresses at this point.
Command V, bro. Command V.
It's like my dad doing Skype. What button? Wait, you see bug spray? Why do you see bug spray? All right, Ratatouille. 623.
Wow, it did better than Incredibles.
Yeah, it did. So Ratatouille, and so right now,
Wall-E and Up. Those are the last two. I'm just curious about.
All right, so that
first
was
10.
Where's Ratatouille? Wall-E. So I don't think Wall-E did that good.
I remember Wall-E just getting so much love.
Yeah, but I bet you did about 400. If I was to
I'm gonna go 5. Ooh.
525. 521.
Okay,
and then still, but this still,
it's still amazing. That's
this is still in the 2000s, the early 2000s.
Pixar is running shop at this point. And the reason I'm going to keep going up is I want to see 735 for Up.
Bad. Yeah, that's what I was saying. I remember how, because I was in Japan when that came out, and I remember people like, "You haven't seen Up, dog? It is incredible."
Yeah. So
I was working in the theater then.
Toy Story 3 becomes the first Pixar movie to hit $1 billion.
Yeah.
So I bet you Cars 2 starts a little bit of a decline.
Wait, it's the beginning? I thought you just said that Finding Nemo or
925. For Finding Nemo.
Oh, so to actually hit $1 billion. Fine. Okay.
Actually hit $1 billion. So the first one to actually hit $1 billion. Cars 2.
I don't imagine.
550. I mean, that's still
a lot of money.
A lot. I mean, it's almost 600 million.
Dude, they had a miss.
The only one that
Dinosaur?
I think that's Good Dinosaur was the only one. It was
maybe Brave. How did Brave do?
I remember Brave not being loved by a lot of people, but I still think it did well.
People saw it.
That's another one I haven't seen.
538.
Still have.
I'm telling you.
So I'm curious, did the Good Dinosaur break $500 million? Because that would be insane.
Just comparatively low, but it's still like.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh, for God's
There you go.
So Monsters University.
This one did pretty well.
743. Yeah. I mean, these movies are gold. And then Inside Out, I know. I mean, Inside Out probably, I bet you gets close to $1 billion.
I think Inside Out cleared. I think it cleared.
I'm going to go 8.
858.
Wow.
Yeah. So this
I'm getting it. I'm getting the road. I'm getting,
what I want people to start doing, if you listen to the rewatch, is start kind of guessing as we get to. Yeah, guess with us.
I'm going to say.
All right, here we go. This is the one. The Good Dinosaur.
I'm going to say 285.
I gotta feel like the Good Dinosaur pulled like 4. I'll give it 4. I think it got as high as 4.
I'm going 350, and it is 332.
Nice.
Wow.
We were all close.
I almost said 3. I was like, no. I'm gonna say 4.
But that's a low.
That's the first bomb.
But it's not even a bomb.
Still made its money back, probably.
That's their lowest.
What was the budget on it?
Good Dinosaur budget. Let's see. Good Dinosaur budget.
Because they were putting out 200 for those last Toy Stories.
200 million.
So that is.
So it about broke even with marketing.
It's a bomb.
With marketing,
they broke even.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money for that movie.
Well, because it was in development hell for so long. Like that movie got reworked and retooled, and a lot of artists.
Yeah,
and
also remember that it came out the same year as Inside Out.
Yeah, that's when they started cranking out 2 movies a year. That was the first one. Inside Out and Good Dinosaur.
Now Finding Dory, as we go through.
Billion.
Billion. Well, it couldn't be $1 billion too. It'd be on that all-time list. 9 something.
Oh, sorry.
Billion clean.
1.0.
Yeah,
1.02.
That makes sense. So this is when they start to, because now remember we're in the
sequels.
we're in the era where movies are making this
I can't
kind
believe
of money.
they just put Soul, Luca, and Turning Red all streaming after the run they've had. That's just crazy.
Part of this pandemic.
That's
sure.
Not as. I don't think if it's
this
today, I don't
do well.
think that happens.
Well,
Cars,
yeah. I remember how bad people did not like this, and I think that's the same thing. I think they may have broken even on that because
now you
got to pay
Owen
Owen Wilson and stuff.
Now I bet you Coco does 600 mil.
Coco, I think did.
I'm gonna go 720.
I'm gonna go 750.
807.
We're all wrong.
I was great movie too.
I
were closest.
Same thing.
All right, so now they do have a bomb, by the way. They do have a bomb, and I'll bet
Onward.
I bet you Onward was.
But it was streaming. If you remember that.
Yeah,
but it was not supposed to be streaming.
It wasn't, but they moved it to streaming, but not because of they made a decision.
They were trying to get Disney Plus.
It was literally because
it made 141 mil, but that's because of pandemic.
That's COVID. That's COVID.
Yeah, that's 100%. 100%. 141 is their lowest, but that's also because of
big old asterisk.
That was the last movie I saw. I took my daughter to the premiere of that.
Yeah,
and I think 2 weeks later the world shut down. Wow. So they really that's really not fair to judge them on.
No, not at all.
Yeah, Soul. Did Soul even come out in the theater?
No,
because that's my favorite.
That pissed a lot of people off too. Other than the fact that it was a really good movie, they were like, "This is the first time that you've got like a black main character for the thing," and people were like, "Come on, man! Like you got Jamie Foxx, Tina Fey."
The problem is that movie didn't come out in December of 2021. It came out in December of 2020.
It was prime COVID times. That's my favorite Pixar film.
I totally understand that, but that was around the time that was pre-vaccine.
Yep.
But around the time that stuff started opening back up. So I understand you don't run that risk because you're like, we still don't really
start putting marketing into that and spending. You're gonna lose. You're just gonna lose a lot of money on that. But
I think what people would have wanted though is the same thing that was happening with a lot of other movies. But I get it. You need the content because that was around the time. If you remember, December 2020. Wonder Woman 84 comes out.
Right.
Soul
HBO
comes
Max.
out.
Everyone's got streaming.
They're like, yo, it's the time. We got to do it.
And they need to get it out there. They didn't know what the hell nobody knew what they were doing.
I hope they re-release it in like 5 years. I want to see it in theaters. That's my favorite all-time Pixar movie.
Soulless.
Yeah.
Wow.
So for me, it's Soul and then Toy Story. Rewatching Toy Story was special.
Yeah.
But like Soul was the first movie to dethrone 95's Toy Story.
Wow.
Just because like it's about like the creative endeavor of how we experience life, and I feel like that Toy Story 1 is about what it means to be creative in its own way, and then Soul was like the adult version of that for me. It was about the active creativity, and I also love the message of like Toy Story is about what it means to embrace growing up, and Soul kind of mirrors that in letting go, and you can't always succeed. Like they're kind of like parallel each other to me in my experience at Pixar. Like they're kind of bookends through the whole thing. So when I look back at my childhood, I think of Toy Story and wanting to be someone that can imagine these things and my toys being alive. And then Soul is about like the inner struggle of living through that and it not always working out.
Yeah, well, Toy Story is definitely like the gateway to the success to all of it because of what they were able to do and how they were able to kind of play this out and the dynamic that they all had in the group. And they were also able to take toys, and the other thing that we don't really talk about as much anymore because this is 95 and you can't relate to it as much, but like Mr. Potato Head and the Slinky and all these things, huge. The branding of it is massive because we all had toys like this. And what it also
the Barrel
did,
of Monkeys joke still funny.
It was, and the Army Man,
Bro, the Army Man, we don't leave anybody behind.
More monkeys, the barrel's empty.
And all of that though, because in 95 a lot of those toys were only like 10, 12, 20 years removed. Right now, my daughter doesn't know what the hell a lot of this stuff is. However, but because of this movie, Mr. Potato Head saw a surge in sales. You know, like the Slinky saw a surge in sales, the Slinky dogs and things like that. So it was also a good way to remarket stuff.
It was smart of Disney or Pixar and Disney to make sure that they create some original characters to pair with that said branding. Right. Because then they also were able to probably make those deals with Mr. Potato Head. Being like, get the Toy Story official Mr. Potato Head. Get the Slink Dog
And I knew I wanted all that.
Exactly.
And having Ernest as the voice of Slinky Dog, I was obsessed with both Ernest and the Slinky Dog. So like I had that toy. I remember I had like 3 different Slinky Dogs because I wanted the most authentic to Toy Story. And then the official one came out and it was so expensive.
But how baller is ILM though and like Lucasfilm? Like they sold this.
Yeah,
like they had this technology. They sold that to like Steve Jobs.
I remember waiting outside of KB Toys to buy these toys. I remember like being at the mall or Toys R Us.
In a long time, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
But like they have those toy releases. Like they don't. I don't think that exists anymore except for like sneakers. Like I don't think you wait outside of stores as like kids don't have sneaker releases.
Sneakers and. Not really even movie releases. People don't really do the midnight movie release
thing
anymore.
For eggs.
PlayStations.
Yeah, PlayStations.
Like a buddy of mine insisted. I was like, I got to be up at 6 a.m. tomorrow. I was like, for what? He goes, there's like 3
PlayStation drop.
There's 3 PS5s, and I was like, are you kidding me?
The Harry Potter books.
We are 34, sir.
I think the Harry Potter books are the last books, and I think that like toy drops were our childhood, and now it's like tech,
dude,
like iPhones. That's now.
That was it. But that's not even a thing anymore. Like it was. The midnight drop thing really is over, with the exception of shoes and game consoles
and eggs.
Well, I guess.
Can I tell you that the first time you
blew right through it.
No, you were so in your thoughts that you were like, and eggs. And I was trying not to interrupt you again, but I'm like, he just kind of like, yeah, and eggs. You're right. You're right. Absolutely.
Midnight release eggs.
Pasteurized. Great. I was like, the second time, I'm like, can I get him again? And I'm like,
organic, free range, and
like, no,
eggs.
not this time, you mother.
Because I heard, you know what my brain did? It heard it the first time. It was like, yeah, good point, Christian. Eggs. The second time, I was like, wait a minute, bitch.
Wait, that's not a good point.
Wait a minute.
He just lied to me. That is incorrect.
He needs some milk.
I put the padlock on the Mortal Kombat box. That's what just happened, bro.
Eggs. Anyway, look. Fun discussion about this. I didn't know, exactly where, because you guys have heard. I mean, people talking about Toy Story. You can dive deep about how influential it was. Clearly, I like the fact that we went to the box office, the gate that it kind of opened for the business that it built inside of and reshaped animation.
I tweeted yesterday. I love that Woody and Buzz have the Top Gun Maverick and Iceman relationship.
Totally.
Like, I love that. Like, we as kids got exposed to that. Like, one of them's the hot shot, one of them's figuring his stuff out. They become reluctant friends.
Told me that that Top Gun was the live action Toy Story. I would have watched that so long ago.
Is it not? Is it not? Iceman Maverick.
Yeah, totally.
Woody and Buzz.
It really is. It is, and they have to form together. And I love the relationship that they ultimately form.
Just like
what they could have happened, what they could have fallen into, which I'm glad they didn't, is the consistent rivalry between the two of them.
Yeah,
the rivalry only really exists in this movie. They have competitions throughout there,
but it's friendly.
But it's friendly. Like they're buddies after, because they've been on an adventure together, and like they're not trying, like Woody, because Woody's a straight up a-hole to him. I mean, he knocks the guy out the window.
Tries to like
a lot of different times, and Buzz is just trying to do the right thing. Buzz is not a bad guy. He's just he's ignorant to the world, and Woody's just trying to protect his spot.
But I 1,000%. But I remember as a kid, like, even though I loved Buzz Lightyear, I felt so bad for Woody because they do a great job with that montage where everyone is obsessed.
And we got to talk about Randy Newman.
And Randy Newman. The scores of it all.
It's the music. I mean, even that Friend Like Me, you got a friend in me. And you just see him, like, because Randy Newman is a very eccentric kind of fun dude to watch play music. I don't know if you ever watched. Like,
Not live, no.
Well, I've never seen him play live, but I mean, I've watched him play live on like YouTube and stuff too.
Danny Elfman quirk.
Well, my favorite thing about my favorite song he's ever did from Major League is it's because that's like one of my favorite movies of all time. And he does that song to open it up, but there's just something about him, and he puts like that emotion into it, and he plays into it, and you can't hear that song and not instantly be transported into Toy Story the second you hear it, in the way that it sets it up with Andy and Woody's relationship up top. Like, oh, this is a great toy, and this is they're really buddies, and this kid might be a lunatic because he doesn't have any friends, and he talks to this Woody doll. But then it turns into this new toy. Yeah. In with the new. And
I got to give him a lot of props too of really taking a look at the world at the time. Yeah. So if you remember Power Rangers, Ninja Turtles, Star Wars is having its own kind of little baby resurgence because like you're only a couple years removed from Phantom Menace.
Yeah,
like you've got all of that kind of cooking at the same time. So to bring in this space toy where obviously Cowboys was the bigger thing back in the day with Westerns and all that, and now the space toys and this futuristic. And even the commercial, that might be my favorite part of the movie.
When Buzz sees
is
himself.
The commercial. He's like, with karate chop action, but the kid has to.
That was our whole childhood.
Kid takes the thing, goes, knocks over the can.
I don't know if my hat deserves that. I'll tell you that.
I watched Kristian as I pick up that hat. Go,
he's like, what's he gonna do? What's he gonna do?
Go do a mom. And I almost hit it this way. I said, I'm gonna hit Kristian in the face.
Don't do it. Don't do it. And eggs.
I'm gonna hit the camera.
And
I gotta go straight up, bro.
But I don't know.
Hold on, wait. Okay.
For your hat?
That's
what are you, Drake?
I don't even know how to get you back.
Oh, that's it. Winston not on the show anymore.
Wow.
That said, I do think there's a good amount of positive nostalgia in the timing of Lightyear. Like, we're all adults now, and we're going to see the other side of the story. But it was really special to watch this because it reminded me a lot of like what was happening in the 90s. Like the 95 flavor of it, even though the movie's pure escapism, there's no like pop culture references, but it reminded me of like what I was doing at 7 years old. Like KB Toys, which I haven't thought about, and releases, and like the things we waited for. Like Christmas morning, having a Woody doll was a life thing.
No, for sure, man. The funny thing is, I don't think I had Woody. I definitely had Buzz, and I wore my Buzz out, bro.
Yeah.
Like, phrasing, Jesus. But like that little Buzz Lightyear to the rescue. We've got
Disney Channel stores. Disney Channel stores that actually looked like the scenes from this movie where they're just stacks and stacks of toys. And then in the second one, when you see the wall of toys, like out of Toys R Us, like art imitating life was really interesting at these movies.
Bro, the only thing funnier, I think, is the fact that you keep getting to the fact that since Buzz is such a futuristic toy. There's more tech in it. There's like computer chips and stuff.
Yeah.
We're going to start to get, obviously, you get the one Buzz that they think is their Buzz, but is actually a store one. And he's like, my dad is like, that was great.
Well, he needs to figure it all out again.
Yeah.
We'll get into
I can't, like, I haven't seen the second one in years. I'd seen the first one again.
It's probably my favorite.
Yeah?
I love, I think it goes 2, 3, 1 for me, and I love 1 a lot.
Wow.
But I think just how deep it goes, and because of all of the characters, Buzz is my favorite.
Yeah.
You get so much more Buzz.
There's more emotion. I think there's most emotion in 3, but there's more. But there's a lot of emotion in 2. I have seen 2 recently because I told you my 4-year-old watched them all.
Yeah.
Although I missed it when she watched 4, so I'm looking forward to watching 4 again. I didn't get a chance to watch the first one with her, but I'm gonna tell her that I gotta watch it for work, and hopefully she watches it with me. But yeah, I think there's a lot of emotion in all of them, and you see it's one of those movies. Normally, I think that if you polled most people who love these movies, I think that you could find that any one of them would potentially either say 1, 2, or 3 was their favorite. I don't think you're ever going to hear anybody say 4. I mean, maybe I'm wrong.
I think
maybe
there's a lot of
comments.
attachment. Like, whether or not the movie's... The quality isn't part of that conversation.
No, I like 4 a lot.
4 is really good.
I just think that it's, out of the 3 movies...
I forgot to rank it.
That's what just happened.
Yeah.
You're not wrong.
Yeah. So
2, 3, 1 does not have 4.
No, I know.
But that'll be fun at the end of this. Is like when we do our ranking, it'll be 5 now because we'll have Lightyear in there.
It is, and comparing to what the first one does, it's just the first one just has so much magic involved in it.
Yeah, and it's such a one of one.
Yeah,
it's one of the. It is probably one of the better origin stories that we've seen in this whole rewatch series.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, just because you nail who these characters are so quickly.
Yeah.
And you get so attached, but you're still learning more. Like it really sets the tone for the rest of this.
And it also like has such great archetypal characters that they can dive into Bo Peeps. Like there's characters set up that are like, oh, I'd like to know more about blank. And like I loved Rex, and Rex has like 5 minutes of screen time, but he was a T-Rex. That was enough for them.
Right.
I love that he also kind of has like the because I just picked it up this time. There's like a little bit of like the nervous like Jewish guilt in Rex the whole time,
trying to like how to not be scary, but to be scary.
Yeah. Oh, dude, it's so great. I absolutely love it.
It's true. All right, listen. This was our first episode of the Toy Story rewatch, and we have more. We have more coming out, and we're going to be, as Coy said, we're going to be doing a few more. Hey, don't take pictures of me. We're going to have a few more. I think we're going to do 2, one on a Tuesday, one on a Friday, so we can make sure we lean into it, because we're going to have Toy Story 2, Toy Story 3. Now, the question is if we do 2 next week and then 3 and 4 the following week is probably what we'll do. And then we go and we see Lightyear.
And then like review it.
Because this, speaking into the future, is Friday. So then
next week.
So next week
we do
Friday, the following Tuesday, Friday again, and then the Lightyear on Monday.
Yes.
Got it.
Yes.
So it'll be Friday is the second one, and then Tuesday is Toy Story 3.
Yeah.
And then the following Friday is Toy Story 4.
And I think what we're
Lightyear.
Yeah, and I think what we'll wind up doing with Lightyear is for the episode is that I don't know if we'll do a full. I mean, we'll have a full on spoiler discussion about it. That's what we do to follow up with these. But I don't know if that full episode will just be. It'll be kind of similar to, I think, what we did on Sith Council yesterday. We did like a full Obi-Wan, but then Mike and I like talked about other stuff that was happening with Celebration. So we can do like a kind of big thing episode where we'll do a spoiler kind of heavy review on Lightyear that following Monday, but then we'll talk about a few other things that are going on in the geek sphere.
Cool.
So, okay. So before we move on, I want to let you know again. Look, see, everybody's almost in it. But next Friday.
The casket's bigger.
I just didn't want to rub it in even more because you had the 3 aliens. And
I wish I knew. Okay, so I wish I knew. Show some class and subscribe to the podcast. You like that? Listen to the big thing on the go. Go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts. And the other thing that I will also put in there is the big thing. That shirt is also available on the store. All these things are on the store. You can go to the link in the description for the Big Thing shirt. You can go to all these things. We're excited to put them all on the store, and hopefully you guys, next time we see you, whether it's Star Wars Celebration or when you see Coy at Comic-Con. You going to Comic-Con?
No.
I'm not going either.
No?
That's my first
Never
one.
been.
Yeah, really?
Whoa. I've never been. I really
this is the first one I mean, not including, the Thanksgiving last year.
I did that one too.
Wow.
I was in
and
special
the year before.
edition.
So this will be the first one I haven't covered since like 2012.
Wow.
Yeah, Celebration was the one I was covering this year. But because you know why? The main reason is that Star Wars Celebration, for example, Ahsoka, the Mandalorian stuff, few other things, panels information were exclusives that only Star Wars Celebration got.
Yeah.
Comic-Con did away with that.
Right.
Everything that comes out, the big stuff that's going to come out, it'll be released, and I can just
be home
and react to it and do reviews and stuff on it there. Because the reason I was going to Comic-Con a lot was for like the parties afterwards and everything too, and those will still be going on. But for networking and those things, I just don't need to do it this year. But I think it's going to be a lot of fun for a lot of people that do.
Yeah,
for sure.
It's where I book most of my guests for the year. It's like that's what it's for.
And that's
my
thing.
corner.
That's your thing.
And I gotta say, like, and I've been saying it publicly, Celebration. I'm back to loving Star Wars. Like this like Celebration experience. Like I publicly want to be involved in the Star Wars fandom.
Stay off Twitter.
No, that's what I mean. I literally tweeted that. I was like, I was so happy for 2 days, and then I got on Twitter, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna talk to Star Wars fans in person.
I'm bummed I didn't go, but I have 2 major trips coming, and there's a lot of people that were saying, you know, that now that they've come home that they caught the bug, and I was just like,
I took 3 tests, or 2 tests, and then 1 more. So 3 total.
I took 3.
Yeah.
All right, listen to me. This is it. We're done. So thank you to Winston, thank you to Coy, and thank you to you guys for joining us on this show. This is the Rewatch series. It's the 3 Idiots. We'll see you next time.